In Arizona in the late 1800s, it was a lawless frontier country and was 50 miles to the nearest larger town, Prescott, Arizona. The Verde Valley is below the Mogollon Rim in northern Arizona and was a haven for the outlaws of all kinds, cattle rustlers, robbers, and gunmen. One of the worst was a man called Quirt Evans. He went by the name Bad Man. And he would do anything for a gold coin.
Take to the outsider, Dan.
Going down and it's expensive.
The bad men, or outlaws, spent most of their time drinking and gambling and womanizing.
Not a chance, baby. You're never aboard.
I wish I had that in writing. You know, it's been a long time.
Quirt Evans had been shot and thrown out of town, and he was on the run from the law. There were a few good God-believing people that had come west from the eastern part of the United States to escape the persecution for their beliefs, mainly Quakers and Mormons. This is the story of one of these families and the bad man below the Mogollon Rim.
Give me that horse.
He couldn't go on. Nor could you. You're injured, man. Let us take you in the house.
You gotta go.
Then the man has his daughter bring the wagon. And it was love at first sight.
Hello?
You're awake.
Sure. I'm awake. What is all this?
Meanwhile, back in the little town of Sedona, one of the worst gangs were hunting all over trying to find Quirt Evans, and were asking everyone in town to help them find him.
Thanks for sewing the shirt. But I can't find my pants.
Get back in bed.
Oh, laziness is the only thing that's kept me there this long.
The doctor says you're to stay in bed 4 more days.
Audie, oh, you're up.
That's no way to speak to an older person, John.
Well, we're pals. You wouldn't expect a pal to call me mister, would you?
See, Dr. Mangrum says to tell you some men in town were looking for you. Says one of the men was a Mr. Laredo Stevens.
Get my pants.
But your leg.
Johnny, get me my pants.
No, John.
Will he get my pants?
Get the pants, John.
What you said.
Busting through doors with Quirt Evans on the other side ain't my idea of a healthy pastime.
Tell him to come in.
Laredo finds Quirt Evans
You can stand
at
right
the ranch, and Quirt has to bluff his way through because there are no cartridges
Howdy,
in his 6-shooter.
You sure run a ring around me, all right. But you know, I don't think it was right friendly of you to beat me to locating that tract after my boys found it. Of course, I'm willing to listen to your side of it. I'm a reasonable man.
Sure. Laredo's always reasonable. That's why he's the biggest man in the territory.
You the biggest man in the territory, Laredo?
So a lot of people say.
I hadn't heard.
Throw the cow some hay. There's a pitchfork.
So Quirt starts trying to be a farmer.
I swore I'd leave plows and pitchforks to farmers.
I'll do it.
No, I'll do it. But it's an occasion.
The.
What?
Oh, nothing, just the.
Penny!
Well, you wanted hay, didn't you? Didn't they?
15? Better put this littlest one in a box. 16. Now get a bucket of water.
Water. All I do is carry water.
No force. Say, wasn't this place irrigated?
This was what was called dry land farming because he only had a well.
Frederick Carson.
He's the man who bought the ranch up above from friends who couldn't make a go of it. We had built a community dam, but it was on his property.
Well, what'd you do about it? Don't tell me. You prayed.
Of course.
Get you any water?
Well, we didn't pray for water. We prayed for Frederick Carson.
Carson turned off the water and you prayed for him?
Of course.
Can't you see? By committing an evil act, the poor man injured his soul.
I'm glad there's a well. Because it'd sure get thirsty around here if we had to wait for Carson. Gonna walk his pony.
So Quirt decided that he would do something on his own and get the water turned back on.
Benny? Nothing.
The neighbor had dammed up what was called Oak Creek, which was water to the settlers.
Be sure you don't leave no slack in that cinch. The boss will sure howl.
Yeah, this ain't the first pony I ever saddled. He'd squawk no matter how I done it.
He's sure getting mean these days, ain't he?
Cantankerous by his natural bornin'. That boil in his neck don't help him none either.
Get out of my way. You belong behind a plow.
Who's Carson?
Don't get down. We ain't taking on no saddle tramps on this spread. Vamoose. Are you deef? I said get moving, tramp.
Nice dam.
Yeah, what's that to you?
Take out the top 2 planks.
What did you say?
The top 2. Let 16 inches of water over there.
Who says so?
I do.
And who might you be when you're at home?
Quirt Evans.
Well, anybody might ride up here and say they're Quirt Evans. He ain't knowed around here by sight. Anybody can say they're him.
Sure could.
'Tis a QE stamp on his saddle.
Well, take the top planks out of that head gate, you stupid idiot.
Just the mention of Quirt Evans' name was enough to make 'em move and move fast.
Well, I don't need all that extra water.
Step up on that pony.
Well, now, look here, Mr. Evans. I've done what you told me to.
You sure did. Step up on that pony.
Well, I'm the kind of fellow tries to get along with everybody.
Side me.
Well, wait a minute. Maybe we better take out a couple more of them planks, Shucks. I got 10 times as much water as I need.
That'll do for now.
Well, if you ever need any more, Mr. Evans, all you got to do is say so.
I figured that.
Then came the water.
Mother, look at the balloon! Mother, all the ditches are full of water!
Thomas! Thomas!
Frederick Carson.
Howdy, Mrs. Worth.
We always knew you'd change your mind.
Yes, ma'am. I did.
Thank you, Frederick. All of us here in the valley are grateful to you.
Worth, it's like I was saying. I ain't got any use for all that extra water. Why shouldn't I let my neighbors use it? I believe that neighbors should be friendly.
What have you got there on your neck, a boil?
Mrs. Worth, I rattled that burned boil
Have
off
you
of my...
tried putting soap and sugar poultice on it?
No, ma'am, I ain't.
If you get down this minute and come in the house, I'll fix it for you. That's right.
You gonna hurt me?
No, that's a shame. It looks awful.
Well, looks like your prayer straightened everything out.
So you think your gun changed, Frederick Carson, huh?
Who says I pointed a gun?
I do.
Well, I didn't.
And he gave in more easily than I expected. Thee remember this, Quirt. The Lord moves in mysterious manner at times, using strange methods and odd instruments.
Me?
Mm.
Well, that would be odd.
I just get a gnawing hankering after good pies and truck like that.
Oh, Frederick Carson.
Yes, ma'am?
Now, I want you to have some of these. They're awful good with coffee in the morning.
Makes me want to go home and shoot my Chinese cook.
You just come back for more any time you like. There are always plenty.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Frederick.
Goodbye. Man ought to see more of his neighbors. Hey, wonderful woman, that Mrs. Worth. Look, she fixed my boil.
Penny! Excuse me, I think Father wants to give thanks.
Oh, he already thanked me.
I know. I think now he'd like to thank someone else.
Hey, hold my plunder while I get aboard, will you? You know, Mrs. Worth's going to keep me supplied in pies. I want to bring her over a quarter of beef now and then. Finally come to an understanding with my neighbors.
You sure did.
Oh, well, of course, you know I was just scared to death when I made that speech to them people. I'm glad you made me go.
So the mean old neighbor had made new friends with the Quakers. Then entered Marshal McClintock, the only law within 50 miles.
Yes, I'll get it.
Never mind. I can do my
The part was played by the great actor
3 weeks, I guess.
Harry Carey.
He didn't disappear for, say, 2 days during that time, did he?
No.
Hello, you weather-beaten old hangman. Penny, this is Wistful McClintock, the Marshal of the Territory.
Hi, miss.
And don't let that gray hair fool you. He's a curly wolf.
Hello, Quirt. See, I thought I had you about half hung. Tall fella, fast with a gun, held up the Baker stage, killed a couple. Now, you're right tall, and some say you're a fast man. But I guess I'll have to take the little lady's word for it. When are you and Laredo Stevens going to get around to killing one another?
Laredo? Well, we water our horses out of the same trough.
Well, I'm sure looking forward to hanging the survivor. You know, I'm a figuring man. Sometimes I don't know all the answers. Like that fella, Quirt Evans. Handyman with a Colt. While he was acting as Wyatt Earp's deputy over the Tombstone, one day he turns in his badge and starts building himself a nice cattle spread. Suddenly sells out and goes on the prod. Why? That's when I ain't figured yet. Sometimes things connect. About that time, a fella called Walt Ennis went down in front of Laredo Stevens. Walt was Regent at the time, and some say that a gambler standing there grabbed his hand. Maybe that's connected. How did you stand with Walt Ennis?
Know him?
The two things connected?
I know a lot of people.
Well, I'll figure it out. I usually do. I'm patient. Young lady, don't be looking at him with your eyes all bugged out like a cowbird's. There ain't no future in it. So long, folks.
Quirt Evans, the bad man, goes off to his first church meeting.
You know, I feel like such a gadabout. It seems hardly a whole week since last first day.
And who does he run into but one of the outlaws that he used to run with?
Hey, Quirt! I thought it was you. Well, well, well.
Hello. Mr. and Miss Worth, Randy McCall.
How do you do? How do you do?
Just fine, thank you.
Well, well, well.
You said that before. We don't want to keep you if you're in a hurry.
Oh, I'm in no hurry. I got no place to go.
Well, we have.
Would you care to come along with us?
Well, sure. Where?
To meeting.
To meeting? Yes, to meeting. You don't want to go, do you?
Be nice if you could.
We'd be happy to have any friend of Quirt's.
You would? Well, that's just fine. You know, ma'am, I sure am an old friend of Quirt's. Why, I remember one time we were chousing cattle down near the Llano River. Herd stampeded, and Quirt pulled me right out from underneath him. Then there was another time, remember? In Opal's Palace down in San Antone?
We're late.
I know, but I was only
Goodbye.
trying to...
If you can join us, it's in the Grove, just the other side of town.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good day.
Get along.
Good day.
We're happy to present you with this token of our friendship for you.
So Quirt Evans receives his very first Bible.
This is Quirt Evans. We're happy to have him here with us because he provided another incident which reaffirms our belief that all men are good if they are shown the light. He persuaded Frederick Carson to let down the water by showing him
After the church meeting on a berry-picking trip in a wagon, they were attacked by Laredo and his men. The wagon went right off into what is called Oak Creek. Quirt pulled the young girl under a waterfall that came down from the higher country so they could hide from Laredo. Then Quirt went looking
little sleepy
for
town of
Laredo and his
Sedona
gang. Clears out fast. Quirt, knowing
Walks
that there is
straight
soon
down
going
Main
to be
a
toward
gunfight.
the saloon where he knows the outlaws will be at. He spots his sweetheart and sees that she's all right. Then gives her his 6-shooter.
Why don't you turn around, Quirt?
Marshal McClintock had shot both of the outlaws down himself.
Nothing ever works out right. I had them dead to rights. They got the Baker stage.
So I figured I'd watch the ruckus. You down them, and I'd hang you. Sorta killing 3 hawks with 1 stone, so to speak. And nothing ever works out right. Well, I missed your getting for it. But I'm patient. It's only a matter of time and I hang you.
Not me, mister. From now on, I'm a farmer.
And they live happily ever after. This was brought to you from John Wayne's 26 Bar Ranch in Eager, Arizona.